Hello and welcome. This is the beginning of a new initiative on my YouTube channel. This is exclusively aimed at those who are preparing for next year's prelims examination. This is called the 9 p.m. daily quiz. As the name suggests, every single day at 9 p.m. we'll have a quiz where the questions will be taken up from multiple sources such as the Hindu newspaper, the Indian Express, the PIB and even the famous Down to Earth magazine. Every day, depending upon how many topics are in the news, we'll take up about 5 to 10 questions and try and discuss those in detail. What I want from you is attend these classes, and also when you see the slide where I'm showing you the question, pause on that slide, think about what the answer is and then move on to the answer so that you can check how many of these did you actually know. And in the comment section, do let me know your score as well. So let's begin without any further ado with question number 1. The first question is, consider the following statements. Number 1. If the area gets affected by wildfires each year were considered a country, it would be the second largest emitter of CO2, surpassed only by China. Second, traditionally, only 20% of carbon released during wildfire is reabsorbed by new vegetation, while remaining 80% is contributed to atmospheric CO2. Third, unlike many other countries, India does not use the IPCC guidelines to ascertain wildfire emissions. So the question about wildfires, there is a lot of wildfires. There are many of these going on in India and in many other countries around the world. That is why there's a big article in the Down to Earth magazine regarding this. Let's see. First, if you consider all the area that gets affected by wildfire as a country, it would lead to becoming the second largest emitter of CO2. Yes, this is absolutely correct. Second one is wrong. Out of all the carbon released by the wildfires, 80% is released, or rather reabsorbed, by new vegetation. So about 80% of it is not affecting the environment, it's reabsorbed by the new vegetation. Only 20% of it contributes to the environment, leading to global warming. Third is also wrong. India also uses the IPCC guidelines only. So IPCC gives certain guidelines of how do you define and how do you categorize different wildfires. India also uses the same guidelines. Second and third are correct. Only the first one is correct. Second and third are rather wrong. The answer thus is A. Any one is correct. In this article, there are a lot of important informations about how wildfires impact climate change. Climate change increases the frequency and severity of weather that leads to longer wildfire seasons. So it's actually a kind of a loop. Increased heat in the atmosphere means more wildfires. More wildfires will further increase the heat in the atmosphere, and it becomes a very, very bad circle. Here you can see the number of wildfires across the entire world. You can see among the emitters, China is the largest carbon emitter, followed by, as the question says, wildfires, then US, India, EU, Russia. In India also, as you can see, Uttarakhand has been the largest largest impacted state with the wildfires. Second question, consider the following statements with regards to saline lakes. Number 1. The reason a lake turns saline is often because it doesn't have a consistent stream outlet, which leads to buildup of dissolved salts from water inflows. So basically there's no outlet, the water basically keeps coming in, and it leads to increased salt. Second, they make up 44% of all the lakes worldwide and are found on every continent in the world, including Antarctica. Third, until a few decades ago, Lake Urmia was one of the world's largest saline lakes, but it shrunk rapidly due to unsustainable human activities. How many of these are correct? Now, saline lakes again are a very, very important part of our ecosystem, very important part of the life that is surrounding these lakes. In this aspect, first is correct. This is the reason why they turn saline. Second is also correct. It is found in every continent, including in Antarctica also there are certain saline lakes. Third also is correct. Lake Urmia is a prime example of how bad human activities or human interference can impact our ecosystem. In the comment section, do tell me where exactly is this lake. Where exactly is this lake? Do tell me in the comment section. In the meanwhile, the answer here is C. All these three are absolutely correct. This is an article from the Down to Earth magazine, why saline lakes are the canary in the coal mine of the world's water resources. Third question, what is glacial geoengineering? Is the technique for slowing sea level rise by injecting particles into the atmosphere. Is it a method for removing CO2 from the atmosphere? Is it a technology for generating renewable energy, or is it a process for restoring degraded land? Which of these is correct? It's a pretty simple question depending on the topics. The answer is A. It is a technique which is used to slow down the rising sea levels, and it uses injecting certain particles into the atmosphere. This is Geo Engineering. It is also known as marine ice management. It is a method for slowing down the sea level rise by thickening the ice shells. It will reduce the flow of land ice into the ocean. So scientists are still working towards this. Question number 4. What is the significance of mango in Buddhism? Tricky question. It is a symbol of enlightenment. It is the fruit of Buddha's tree. It is a food of the Buddha, or it is a symbol of rebirth. Mango in Buddhism, you might or might not have read about this in NCRTs. Now, this is based on a recent book on Buddhism which talks about the significance of mango tree in Buddhism. The correct answer here is B. Mango is considered as a fruit of the Buddha's tree. It's an interesting fact. It is associated with the Bodhi tree under which Buddha attained enlightenment. It is believed that Buddha was offered a mango orchid by a follower, and he often rested and taught under the mango trees. And that is why it's considered that mango is actually the fruit of the Buddha's tree. Question number 5, which is the last question for today's quiz. What are the CITES guidelines on trade of rosewood species? Complete ban on all the trade, quota system based on sustainable harvest levels, no restriction on trade, or a system of permits for trade. So basically CITES guidelines, as you know, these are guidelines given for preservation of different species. What do they suggest about rosewood species? Have they banned it completely? Are there no restrictions, etc.? The answer is somewhere in middle, that is B. CITES has given a quota system on sustainable harvest level, means they are given a quota system on how much rosewood can you cut down, how much rosewood should you cultivate, how much rosewood should you keep intact so that you can replenish the stock time and time again. There is not a complete ban, but there is a quota system in international trade so that it does not threaten their survival. These were the 5 questions for the quiz. Don't forget to join us every single day at 9 p.m. We might have more questions in some of the days. All the questions today were taken from the Down to Earth magazine. We'll have a mix and match. Some days we'll also take up some of the questions from the static part. Thank you so much. If you're new here, do hit the subscribe button. Till then, bye-bye. Jai Hind.